Is this a silly idea? Maybe, but it isn't even my craziest idea. English, despite being the lingua franca of our planet, is kind of a mess. And the main reason English is such a mess has less to do with its spoken form and more to do with its written form. The spelling of English is all kinds of crazy. We have words that are spelt the same but have different pronunciations, words that are spelt the same, sound the same but have different meanings, and even cases of the same word being spelt differently in different forms of English. Suffice to say, we should really do something about this, and thankfully, in the centuries English has been around for, we have. There have been reforms to the spelling of English which have made the tongue way more easy to understand in its written form. But why don't we go further? There are many other things we could do to improve and fix English spelling. I even have a few ideas of my own. Yeah, this video is coming straight from my brain as opposed to any actual sources. I've come up with 5 ways in which we could improve the issues facing the spelling of English. These ideas range from ones suggested by many other people to ideas that are a bit more left field, shall we say. Let's go from the most logical of these ideas to the most odd, shall we? And of course, I need to stress these are just my own silly ideas. You probably shouldn't take them too seriously. The most logical thing we could do, and perhaps really ought to do, is make the spelling of English words universal. This is something I mentioned up top. It's perhaps best seen when we compare British and American English. A word like colour, in example, lacks a U in American English, while a word like centre has this R and E swapped around in American English too. This has created all kinds of confusion for us, especially as our world is better connected now more than ever. This has allowed these different spellings to interact more with one another and create so much confusion. This could be resolved easily if we, as a planet, decided on one spelling for each word in English. We could just borrow American or British English, or even take words from each form to create one singular version of English, where the spelling is the same all across the globe. This makes all the sense in the world, right? Another idea I had was to remove silent letters from English. The language in its many forms is full of words which start with letters that don't really serve all that much of a purpose. Think of the G at the start of gnome or the K at the start of no. These letters seemingly have no use at all, so why don't we just get rid of them? This could help English spelling immensely. I can imagine many people would be confused by these words, so removing them would make the language much more clearer to understand. However, it's not the perfect solution. Silent letters do serve some purpose. In no's case, if we remove the K, we are left with the word now, which sounds different and has a completely different meaning. In many cases, silent letters help us understand how a word is pronounced, despite the fact those letters themselves aren't pronounced. If we get rid of silent letters, we'll have to do something about these sorts of issues. And luckily, I have just the solution. Before we continue, I want to say a huge thanks to my most recent patrons and super thanks leavers. So a huge thank to new patron Rebecca Burton, and super thanks leavers Paul Preston 8547, Christine Brown 3359, and Essential Lopez 270. Patron is the best way to financially support Name Explain, and donating just $1 a month gets you ad-free videos, a chance to say what names get explained, an exclusive monthly newsletter, and your name at the end of these videos. All of that can be found at patreon.com/nameexplain, which we linked down below. Conversely, if you want to just make a one-time donation, you can leave a super thanks directly in the comments section of any of my videos here on YouTube. They help out tremendously too. Thank you. The next idea I have to improve English spelling is adding diacritic marks to the language, also known as accent marks. These are those little dashes above and around letters we see in many other languages. What these do is help guide and explain how a letter is pronounced in that instance. I've talked many times about the fact English has more sounds than letters, so many sounds end up sharing a letter. Using these accent marks would help readers understand how a letter is actually said aloud. This is something I've actually made a whole video about, so I won't go into too much detail on it here. You can just watch that one if you want to. We could even take things a step further in regards to the mismatch of sounds and letters in English. Instead of adding accent marks to pre-existing letters, we could just create whole new letters to reflect these sounds instead. This is a tad more of a crazy idea for sure, but it would easily fix that aforementioned problem and allow each sound to have its own unique written form. In example, the short E sound could carry on using that same letter, but the long E sound could have a whole new letter made up for it. Maybe one that has literally a longer E, or it could even be something entirely new. Is this a silly idea? Maybe, but it isn't even my craziest idea. That honour goes to my last idea, and that's the suggestion that we should add logograms to English. Logograms are symbols in language which reflect entire words or ideas. Perhaps the best example of these being the kanji characters featured in Japanese, as well as other languages like Chinese and Korean too. These symbols reflect entire words. For example, this kanji means fire. English actually already features some logograms. Think of things like the ampersand or even the symbols we use for numbers. But we could take this a step further. We could create a whole selection of symbols for a selection of more basic words in our language. They could be universally understood and remove the issues of spelling as a whole. Like this could be the English logogram for fire in example. We wouldn't need to just use them either. Japanese uses kanji hand in hand with other alphabets which reflect sounds like the English alphabet does too. This is definitely my most out there idea, but in all honesty, we're also kind of getting there with this one too. Just look at how popular and universally understood emoji have become. In fact, not just in English, but across the entire world. Maybe we should just ditch language altogether and just speak in emoji or something. These are my ideas for how we can improve English spelling. They range from pretty logical to a little bit odd to say the least. But let me know what you think of them and what would you do to try and fix the mess that is English. Also, please go suggest a topic down below which we could cover in next Monday's Name Explain video. It could be about literally anything, and the topic can be as niche or broad as you like. I will then choose 3 of those topics and place them on a poll for my patrons to vote on. Then the winner from that poll will be the topic covered in next Monday's Name Explain video. You can vote in that poll, as well as enjoy many other great benefits, by visiting patreon.com/nameexplain, which will be linked down below, and by donating just $1 a month. Thank you. Anyway, that's more than enough for myself, but don't forget to go follow me on Instagram on NameExplainYT, and don't forget to join the Facebook page, Friends of Name Explain. We can chat with myself and many other name nerds. Okay all, take care. I think we're good, camera-wise. I think I'm a bit zoomed in more than last time. Mixing things up, right? I guess. This is a fun video. I kind of just, no sources, kind of just wolf on my own head. So, see how that goes. All good. Should we begin? This video is coming straight from my brain as opposed to any actual sources. Oh, my phone just buzzed, sorry. 5 ways in which we can improve. Or we could even take words from... Let's start again. Another idea you know when just like all the words become one in my mouth, like another idea. I've had actually super thanks for a while now, but YouTube made a change and I didn't know I could find all my super thanks, but I figured it out. Cool. Using these accent marks would help readers take care. We're done. That was a rocky one, but I can't even say that was a rocky one right at the moment.